All right now. Welcome back. And if this is your first time, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for checking out my channel, and thank you for listening as far as you shall get with my quirky little world. If you're returning, thank you for returning. Please make sure that you guys show some love if possible. Like, subscribe, share, comment, whatever the case may be. I would definitely appreciate all the support that I can get. So it is technically 1:22 in the morning. So it is technically Friday morning instead of Thursday night. I, for some particular reason, cannot sleep. I'm guessing it's an insomnia night, which is not a cool thing because usually means the next day I'm not going to be feeling good. It's just all in all a not good day, which I'm hoping that is not the scenario. So I decided, since I'm up and I'm really technically not doing anything but just watching some scary movies, because whenever I do get into my depressive state recently, I've noticed that if I do watch scary movies, which I'm not really like I'm a scary cat, I'm a chicken, okay? I'm a little punk. I need to have somebody watch them with me, and I don't have anybody because my kids are not into them. My oldest can't hear it because it gives her nightmares. The middle one, he'll get nightmares as well, but he can hear it. He just is not really into it. And the little one, obviously, she's too little, so it leaves me with not being able to watch them. So normally when I get into that really dark stage, I try to watch them to keep my mind off of things. But for some particular reason tonight, I don't know. It's like my brain is everywhere but nowhere, if that makes sense. Which is probably not going to make sense to you guys. I'm not going to lie, because it still kind of doesn't make sense to me. And it's my brain. Oh my gosh, I keep yawning. Yet before I decided to record, I was not yawning at all. So I was just on my Instagram. Well, not my Instagram, because my personal Instagram is separate from the single parent mental illness one. But I was just on a single parent mental illness Instagram, and I follow Living with Lilac. Her mom has, Lilac is, she has autism. Her twin sister doesn't, but she does. Sorry, the yawning is like annoying me, so I know it has to be annoying you. She's like so beautiful. I like watching her, and her smile is just like so amazing. Watching her makes me appreciate my too high functioning a lot more, because there's a couple of things I just never really had to go through that her mom has to deal with her. But it's nice to get to see others that are going through like the same thing with you, that you are, in other words, not with you. Do any of you have any like unique stories that you may want to, shoot up over in the email? I can make mention of. I can provide feedback, whatever the case may be. My apologies again for yawning, but it was nice. It was nice because honestly, by us having to leave CT and come down to a location where we know nobody, we don't get to actually leave the house. So it's really difficult. Like, we're social, but we're not social. And my kids are exactly like me as well, which is crazy. But, like, we're social, but not social. So we're awkward out in social settings as well because it's not like our biggest thing. So we don't really have the extra funds to do extra things. I'm trying to get us out of this situation, which is why like my daughter did the GoFundMe page to see if we can like hurry up and move and get everything back on track. Because we have so many plans that we're trying to work on, and just being where we are, like, it's not helping. And not only is it not helping, it's just deteriorating my mind even more. And then now that the kids are actually asleep, I can legit be like completely transparent and not have to worry about one of them hearing me. But like, I feel like when I am telling whoever is listening that I don't know how much more I can take, I feel like they think I'm joking. But the sad part is I am so serious. I don't really know. I feel like I'm going to have a whole mental breakdown and I'm not even going to notice it. Like, I feel like I'm going to do like I always do and just suck it up and work through whatever it is that I have going on, because my babies are counting on me. And it's a struggle because I sometimes need time to recoup. I sometimes need time to re-energize myself again so that I can, be a good mom and provide my kids with what they need. But as of lately, I don't have that opportunity. And it is imperative that, I get out of this situation drastically bad. I don't have a support system down here. And this whole not saying where we are is, really just irritating my soul. So I guess I'll probably just mention it here, and whatever falls, and whatever doesn't. But so we went from living in Connecticut to moving down to Virginia. It was a last minute move. It was definitely not planned. It was more of, I ran. I had to run. I ran to save myself and my kids. And before you guys think it's a crazy, oh my God, somebody was trying to kill her or hurt her or whatever, I don't know, I would love to know, why is Hulu playing a commercial in the middle of a movie that I'm supposed to be watching? How does that work? I thought Hulu only played commercials during TV shows. I'm sorry, it's not like y'all care, but I do, because I was just watching a movie. And if I was just watching a movie, why do I have... Bruh. Are you kidding me? They seriously put commercials in a movie in Hulu. Who does that? It's bad enough that my financials are so bad I had to get this deal, which is $1.99 a month. Or $2.99, $1.99. I don't know. For some reason I'm hungry right now. And it's not letting me really think. But $1.99, and I'm watching a commercial in the middle of watching a scary movie while streaming. Can somebody please tell me what is the point of that? I just don't get it. Literally just threw my whole show out the window. My whole topic. This is crazy. Wow, Hulu really just... Okay. So we came down here, right? And like I said, it wasn't a planned out thing. I was residing at my mother's house. Our relationship had already gotten really to the bad point. I didn't even tell her that I was pregnant. She wasn't accepting of my daughter's father. Originally, she was supposed to be house hopping to nicer weather to just relax, and I was supposed to be taking over the bills at her house, her her co-op, and I was gonna fix it up for her. That was my game plan, and I was supposed to be there only for a year, and that was supposed to allow me to put some money to the side, figure out what I wanted to do, because I already knew that staying in NCT is not where I wanted to be. Financially, it was like too much. I was working 2 jobs, barely seeing the kids. Like, did not qualify for food stamps, which really sucked. So we barely were eating. Like, I was losing weight instead of gaining weight through my pregnancy because we didn't have any food. But things between my egg donor kept getting worse. She was messing with my mentals and messing with my daughters and my sons. And it was just getting to a point where, like, my daughter was really wanting to kill herself more and more. And my son was starting to, like, feel like he was just worthless. And that's when I started to realize, like, my mom, like, my egg donor was really doing to my kids what she did to me growing up. I just hadn't realized it before because I didn't think she would be that evil since they don't look like my sperm donor. So, like, why would you hold anything against them? But apparently I was wrong. And upon a lot transpired, but let's see, to kind of sum it up, like I said, my mom didn't like my daughter's father, who was my boyfriend at the time, and it was all because of something else that happened previously. So she wasn't happy with him being there at all, but he was living with me because he had been evicted from his apartment. We weren't together when he moved in. We have been on and off for a while now. Well, more off now than on, but by choice. She just really didn't care for him. So it was bringing a wedge between all of us because my kids loved him. I obviously loved him. Obviously the baby loved him. But she just didn't care for him and was making it really difficult for us to accomplish or do anything. And was really like, I feel like I had postpartum depression before I even gave birth. I am not sure if that is possible. I am not an expert. I am not a doctor. So please don't quote me on that. But personally, my personal opinion is that I had postpartum before I gave birth. So I was already like severely depressed before I gave birth. And that was because this whole time I am like legit having anxiety attacks but still making it to work. Having panic attacks but still making it to work. I'm not eating but I'm still making it to work. So I had a car, he totaled it. Well, first oh my God, I don't even know where to go. Like, there's just too much, but I'm trying to give you guys, I'm like too transparent sometimes. I feel like I shouldn't be that way. But I'm trying to give you guys a summed up idea of like what, like, I can't even write these things if I wanted to. Like, I couldn't even make them up in other words. Like, things that I go through, sometimes I sit there and just be like, but why? Why? Just like, why did you have to go through that? But anyway, so it turns out that the car that we did have that I had bought not even a year before, when he was so-called doing an oil change after YouTubing to check, it just stopped working. Nothing was working. No matter what we did, nothing was working. So I was a shift supervisor, shift RX and front store supervisor for CVS. I used to have to catch the bus because mainly they had me opening. I used to catch the bus at 5 something in the morning, and where we lived at, the bus did not come to my neighborhood because it was too early. The earliest bus would actually make me late to work because I lived like 2 towns over. So I used to have to walk. Like, I'm not sure if you guys ever been to New York, but I always consider New York blocks to be so darn long. Like, dude, when am I gonna get to the end of the block? Like, seriously, like, I feel like I've been walking forever. Like, come on, I can see all of New York, and I still didn't make it to the end of the block. So I personally feel like, I would probably say it was like 3 New York blocks. But now that we live down here in the country, the country don't even have no blocks. Because, I'm sorry, like, legit, like, yeah, it's kind of having New York blocks with some more length to it, I guess you can say. But, so I used to have to walk from there. Doesn't matter if it was raining or snowing. And trust me when I tell you, I had to walk in deep snow. A couple of times I made it to work with my feet and my pants legs wet. But I used to have to walk. I kind of wish I can give you guys like something that everybody would know where it is. Alright, you guys have to excuse me. But in my previous posts, I had mentioned about like the roaches and how we have to get here and why my daughter created a GoFundMe page and the anxiety and how they like trigger me. So right now, while I'm recording this podcast on my phone, it is 1:38 in the morning and there's a whole bunch of them in my room. There weren't ever really this much before as there are now, and it's not allowing me to be able to go to sleep. It's just honestly like, I just want to leave. I want to get up and I want to leave and not come back. But I obviously know that I cannot do that because I have 3 kids that are counting on me. But this is like, I can't even focus on what I'm telling you guys. Like, I feel like even posting this podcast is just going to be pointless. But at the same time, if I am trying to bring you guys into my world, this is my world. And if I'm trying to have others help me, be able to be a support system, where we can help each other, we have to be really transparent. I'm sorry, y'all, but like, I wish y'all could see what I'm seeing. It wouldn't bother y'all if y'all don't have the phobia that I do, but I legit just want to break down right now. But I know breaking down is not going to get me anywhere. And I really cannot have a whole mental breakdown. Like, I cannot focus on my mental health because I have to worry about my 2 kids that have theirs going on. Thank God the baby is good. But, like, this right here, right now, I want to get up and just, like, literally, for real, just leave. Like, I can't take this anymore, but I don't have nowhere to go. We really don't have any money. I haven't been able to make it to work in 3 weeks. So I'm really trying to figure out how I'm going to make it back to work. And I work as an independent contractor. I don't make much an hour, but it allows me the leeway of being able to make my own schedule so that I can parent my kids, especially with everything that they have going on. But right now, who's going to parent me? Because I just feel like I'm just going to break down. I can't go to sleep. And I can't stay up because they're like everywhere. Like, why are they everywhere? And then At this point, I don't even remember what was the whole point of my original show, because like they already got me at 1,000 right now, and it's just, I'm trying not to get into a bad mode. I'm sorry, you guys, for sidetracking. It's hard living like this. It's not easy. It's really hard. It's difficult. It's a hard walk, and it's a hard walk I have to do on my own. And then the sad part is, my oldest, oh my God, she's like, I have a unique relationship with each one of my kids. But my oldest has been through a lot more with me than the other two. And she's actually saved me from, committing suicide a couple of times by just being there and just being the only thing that genuinely loves me. Unconditionally. Even when I make a mistake. Like, I've bitten her head off plenty of times when she's done something like over the top or even little because of the bipolar. And sometimes I'll realize it like right after, and I'll be like, oh my God, I'm sorry. Like, I didn't mean to rip your head off like that. Like, I kind of meant to say this and I don't know what happened. Sometimes I can feel myself getting ready to like rip her head off, and then I'll be like, let's just talk later. And I don't have to explain anything else to her because she'll understand that I'm just trying not to let the bipolar and anything else like dictate whatever it is that I need to talk to her about, because I don't want her to feel any certain type of way. And I don't want to accidentally like say something that, is not cool because I'm going through my, little meltdown and whatever the case may be. But I do know that, like, it's not an easy task, and sometimes I wish I could just have somebody who just understood. Like, I don't need you to have lived what I lived. I don't need you to go through what I go through, but just to be able to understand is like such a blessing. I've never realized how much it's meant to me for me to be understood until now. Like, I feel like my poor YouTube channel, I got 22 subscribers, just not really going anywhere there. My my Instagram page has 63 followers. I'm going to have to pause really quick. I will be right back. All right, I'm back, y'all. Sorry about that. I'm just trying to find a way to just be okay with everything that's going on right now, and I can't find a way to do that. So it's kind of like, but I had to bring myself back. I had to regroup it real quick. I'm here, fabulous, not tired. I am your late nighter. No, let me stop. But anyways, so long story, very long story, but anyways, we came down here, a whole bunch of things transpired. I'm not sure if y'all really care to know this, but I ended up coming down to Newport News. I was staying with I consider her like an associate now, not a friend, due to what transpired. But we came down and stayed with her. She was supposed to be allowing me to get on my feet since I had just given birth. The baby was like not even 3 months old, I think, or not even 4 months old, in other words. and I was on maternity leave. I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to go back to work because of my bipolar and everything else being triggered and all over the place. My postpartum was so bad, it was really like triggering my suicidal like horribly. So we like literally just popped up overnight because I couldn't find no shelter to stay at in CT. Couldn't continue staying where I was. My at that time and currently at the present moment is my ex-boyfriend. He his routine was supposed to be saving his checks, and I was supposed to be covering everything we could with my money, because I made more money than he did. So he was supposed to be placing his checks in a chest that we had at the house, and we were supposed to use that money to move before Stankodoodle was born. Come to find out, I found out like probably I want to say a month or two before I gave birth, or like a month and a half before I was scheduled for my C-section, that he did not save not one check, not $1, not one coin. So the money that I was counting on for when taxes came as well, to be able to help us to get out of the situation we were in and to allow us to have a roof over our head, was no longer relevant, and I had no other way of making this work. So I was now like, are you kidding me? Like, why would it be okay to place the mother of your firstborn child, and you already know that she already has 2 other kids that have stuff going on and doesn't get any assistance or help? Why would you put me in a situation like that? And then to top it off, the car that my loving bro, I won't say because my daughter calls him now Uncle Mervin, my bro gave us a car for us to be able to have to me, so I wouldn't have to keep walking and killing myself to get to work, especially in the snow. I ended up catching pneumonia. I ended up catching the flu from catching the city bus and walking around in that, like snow and stuff. So when he gave the car, it made it a little bit easier. But okay, there's one thing I have to disclose. My daughter's father is way younger than me. So he's still growing up. And at that time, he was just in the whatever. He's currently 24 now. And the baby's gonna be 3 in May. So sometimes you would just go MIA, and I would still have to take like the city bus and figure out how to get to work. And that just started creating my anxiety 10 times worse than what it already was. But it was just kind of like, I just couldn't believe that the selfishness was so drastic. And it was just like, dude, are you kidding me? Like, for this, I would have been better off like way it was before. So this is like so off topic, but it's not off topic. Like I said, I knew he was younger. I had no intentions of getting into a relationship with him. I really was not looking for a relationship. I was looking for a situation of friends with benefits, whatever the case may be. I'm really particular about my kids. I don't bring just anybody around them, not even friend-wise as well, because my kids do get attached to people if they like you. They're very affectionate, very caring, very compassionate, very loving, and I don't like for them to have to keep having people like walk out of their lives. So I don't really introduce them to just anybody. I don't allow just anybody in my house. I'm a really strong spiritual person, and I believe that, a lot of negativity can be brought in and not realized, and bad spirits and things like that. So I'm really cautious about who I be letting come visit anyways, even if I wasn't just like a loner and know nobody right now. I would still be the same way. Very cautious of like who I had coming over to my house. So I had originally asked him when we started dealing with each other. Like, my kids didn't know we were dealing with each other until like a whole year and some change afterwards. My daughter already knew him because he worked at her school, and then my son already knew him because he went to camp there. And they were both like in love with him, whatever. Especially my daughter. She still is like, that's like her dad, even though she won't admit it, but that's like her dad, whatever. I did ask him like a long time ago. I was like, hey, you know, when we were like towards the beginning, I'm like, listen, I really don't need a dude per se. Like, if I choose to be in a relationship, it's my choice. But at the moment, if I had so much going on and I had to really focus on her and getting her together and making sure she was straight, I just didn't bother to like, why do people on tag still keep talking to me and I don't even bother to go on there? I was like, hey, listen, you know, like, I don't, like, I'm just asking by any means, since, you know, we are dealing with each other on that level and you're the only person that I'm dealing with on that level, I want to have another kid. Do you mind just donating some sperm? Awkwardly, like, conversation. I didn't care. I still had it. And he was basically like, oh, well, I don't know how I feel about that because, like, I had a mom and dad growing up. Like, I don't want to have a kid out there in the world and I'm not being a parent and blah, blah. And, like, you never know what's going to happen between us. So I was like, okay, cool, whatever, you think about it. And me being the responsible adult and person that I am, I always kept track of everything that was going on to make sure we were good. So years down the line is when I finally ended up having our daughter. But, like, and that was a big boo-boo on my end, seriously. Like, that was the one time I really was not cautious or paid much attention, and it was because we had just gotten back from a cruise. I hadn't seen him for a whole, like, week. Mother Nature was here when I came back from the cruise, so yeah, y'all know what happened after that. Mind you, we weren't even dating. We were just, again, back in our old situation before we had started dating each other. So he was like, no, because of this and that. And then look where we are now. Which you're gonna find out down the line even more. But we're like nowhere right now, to be honest. And it's crazy. But we're like nowhere right now. So it's like he remembers he has a kid sometimes, and sometimes if something is going on, he, like, I don't know, just pushes everybody away, but forgets that he still has to be a dad. Like, where's my turn off button? Where's my HR so that I can turn in my vacation time and get like a couple of days off so I can recoup and not lose my shits? Like, why is it that everybody else gets the opportunity to do this but me? Like, that is the one thing that kills me about fathers that are not there, or fathers that don't understand, or fathers that are selfish. Like, I can go on, and I'm not saying that my daughter's father is these things. I understand him, so I tend to not, like, really hound him, because, like I said, I've known him for a long time, so I know, like, how he is. But it just gets frustrating because I don't get to clock out. Like, I don't get to say, all right, it's 5 o'clock, let me punch out. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't get that luxury. And even whenever I'm on a ledge and I'm trying to talk myself, mind you how I said I'm trying to talk myself off the ledge, I don't have that luxury of doing that in peace and quiet. I have to do that while I have the baby jumping on me, while I have the two older ones arguing, and sometimes I have to literally stop and, like, really remind myself these are my kids and I love them to death. They're my world. They're the whole reason why I am here. Just breathe, relax, you got this. I have to keep reminding myself of that and, like, constantly keep repeating it to myself, because if I don't, there's a possibility that I will, like, legit forget and just, like, snap or say something that's, like, utterly, like, jacked up. Sorry, God, but I'm thirsty, and due to the fact that we have no food stamps right now and we have no income, we're limited on food and drinks. So we're pinching here and there. I was trying not to drink anymore because we still have a couple of more days till the 1st. But I guess talking to you guys happened to make me more thirsty. So I had no choice but to take some. But anyway, so yeah. So we ended up not being able to move out. And then what ended up happening? I remember there was like a big old argument. Because my son was doing some crazy ass things that I just don't tolerate. Like, I'm a really strict parent. And back then, they weren't excuse me, I apologize for that. Back then, they weren't diagnosed with the autism, the high functioning autism yet. They just had like their bipolars. Sorry, not bipolars, but I apologize. Mood disorders, ODD, etc., etc. Like, it's a lot of diagnoses I'd be forgetting. So he was doing something that, like, he legit had no business doing. And it was, like, one of those things where it's kind of like, no, dude, this is definitely not okay. So at that time, you know, my daughter's the baby's father, like my boyfriend, I was like, listen, I need you to talk to Booger because, this is what's going on. And, like, this is just not cool. So, because he's a guy, and really tall, like 6'2", I think, or 6'3" now. Like, I'm 5'7.25", but he's like 6'3", I think. Now, I'm not sure. All I know is he's always taller than me, so like whatever. So he's like talking to Booger. Booger always cries like the world is ending whenever you're correcting him. It does not matter if you're yelling, screaming, talking, holding his hand, whatever. It's the end of the world. But back then, at that time, he was like literally throwing himself on the floor and screaming bloody murder when all the baby's father was doing at the time was just talking to him. So like, my egg donor was upstairs in her room, yelling downstairs, "Don't touch that boy. Why are you beating him? Why are you abusing him?" And I'm like, first of all, the woman who gave birth to him and almost died in an emergency C-section giving birth to him is standing right here. So I obviously know that my kid is not being abused. Second, why are you in my business that I am trying to correct my child? And then she's like, well, I'm going to call his father and I'm telling this and I'm telling that. And I'm like, well, okay, you can go ahead and feel free to call and relay the message. That's not a problem. But while you were doing that, can you please ask him what is he doing for his child? Because not only is he financially not doing anything, he is also physically not doing anything. So unless I am getting assistance from him to help with our child, I can give a rat lickety legs, because I don't want to cuss, of whatever it is that you have to say to him. Because at the end of the day, if I give my boyfriend permission to snap, pop, whatever my child, I'm within my rights as long as he's not being neglected. And up in Connecticut is DCF, not like CPC down here, CPS down here. So like I'm a mandated reporter, so I know these things. And he's also a mandated reporter as well. So it was like, can you just mind your business and just let me parent? I am telling, don't who you think you talking to, and F this and B that, and this is exactly what she's saying to me. So I'm just getting really irritated and more irritated. Mind, I'm already pregnant. I'm tired. He used to have to be outside for the bus by like 7 something in the morning. No, I think we were dropping him off at that time. Were we dropping him off at that time? I can't remember now if he had the bus or we were dropping him off at the time. But it was like 6 something in the morning because his school started at 7. He was in a Charter Oak. And then was I going to say? I'm trying to remember, because I know he was getting ready for school. And I think I still had my pajamas on. Because I remember the argument got, like, way more heated. He stayed quiet. He wasn't the one arguing with her. It was actually me. And then I remember getting so frustrated because she made a comment that was really jacked up. And it just really took me over the top. And then I remember going upstairs and she was like, oh, I dare you to come in my room or something like that. And I'm like, look down on the floor. Your room is wood. I'm on the carpet in the hallway. But I really, need you to understand, you need to mind your business. These are not your children. Your hatred for him is so drastic that you're hurting your own daughter and your grandkids, and you don't care. And at that time, I hadn't officially told her that I was pregnant. So she was coming to hit me. So I said to her, you know what? I stood right there and I was like, go ahead and hit me. Hit me and give me the opportunity to call the cops on you for abusing me. Finally, after so many years of abuse, I can finally call the cops and said, you abused me. And it just kept going. And, it took my boyfriend, well, sorry, he's not my boyfriend now, my daughter's father, boyfriend at the time, to, pretty much kind of, snap me back and pull me because the kids are crying. I felt so bad. And at that time, I felt like such a horrible mom because I did something. I told myself I was not going to allow my mother to get me at anymore, which is take me out of character. And it did end up happening. And then it happened in front of my kids. So they're literally crying because they know I'm pregnant. They're worried because I was having already health issues, and it was just a lot. So she ends up collaborating with Booger's father, sperm donor, father, whatever. And she tells him the whole opposite of what actually happened is what she ends up telling him. So he, instead of talking to me, he's a trigger for me, which is why I didn't want to relay where we are, because he's a trigger for me. He really knows how to take me and just literally, he's just a huge trigger for me. So at this point right now where I am and where my booger is, we're not in a place right now to have to deal with his manipulations and things like that. So I'm trying to make sure that we get our mental foundation where it needs to be strong enough so that when we do have to cross that path, we're both mentally strong enough to be able to cross that path. There's other things in that story as well, but that is for another time. And I feel like that's also something that I may want to do a podcast with him with, because it's kind of somewhat his story to tell more than it is mine. And hopefully his autism will be willing to function with me so that he can actually get across whatever it is that he may need to say. But yeah, so he goes to school. I don't know what for, but I know after my egg donor told him all whatever, I took him off of the emergency contacts for school because his motto was, well, it's my son, I can pick it up whatever I want to, I don't have to tell you anything. And to me, that's not correct. That's not co-parenting. That's always you manipulating the situation and making it seem hello, I'm the one that almost died for him. I'm the one that has a scar for him. I'm the one that's done everything from the moment I found out I was conceived until this day. I can count on my hand the amount of times that his donor actually bought something or did something for him. And the majority of the time, it was people's money that he didn't stole. So, it wasn't coming from his pocket. And then, I might be wrong, too. You guys can tell me. Actually, I really would love it if you guys would send me a message and kind of let me know if you really think that I'm wrong about this. Nobody's ever really given me their opinion, and I've kind of been asking in all different platforms, and I'm legit asking, but for some reason, people just don't want to answer my question. I don't know if you guys think that I'm, not approachable. I don't know what it is, but I look at it as if I'm with my child 24/7 It is not my responsibility to keep the missing parent up to date. I feel like it's the missing parent responsibility to check on their child once a day, and call them at least once or twice a week, or call as many times as you want. I don't care. But I feel like I need to, oh, well, so-and-so happened, and this is going on, and that's going on, and this is the shoe side, and that's that. Because if you're playing a part, you would know all these things. And there wouldn't be an issue. That's just the way that I look at it. So I'm not going to chase anybody to be anybody's parent. And I'm not going to chase anybody to be anybody's family member. And I don't care who's listening. And I will apologize to a certain extent if you guys take offense. But then I will not at the same time. Because at the end of the day, if I wake up to them and I'm going to sleep to them, and I'm doing everything in my means possible while trying to stay as sane as I can, then I don't need to hunt down anybody to tell anybody how they're doing. I feel like you guys, they need to, whoever it is, needs to hit up and, contact us for that child and see how that child is doing. But yeah, that's just a whole nother avenue. But anyways, so he happened to have showed up at the school because he was pissed off because I don't have him on the list, and he wanted to pick him up, but he couldn't. So then supposedly, according to his story, because according to the egg donor is a different story, but according to his story, the egg donor had called right when he happened to be at the school and asked what he was doing, and he happened to tell him he was talking to Booker's principal, and she was like, oh, well, put me on speaker, and proceeds to say how we were abusing Booker and all these other crazy accusations. So the principal called me and was like, Lynette, I'm sorry. I said, listen, I understand. Don't worry about it. I was like, the egg donor's just using you now. She doesn't fight fair. She plays dirty. So I was like, don't take no offense. It's okay. I understand. He was like, I know Delano's not neglected. He was like, I know he's definitely not, because he comes to school all the time. He's dressed, he's fed, you do. He's like, I understand. He was like, because there's times that you actually come at us for not telling you something. So he was like, I know how you are. We know how you are. So we know that he's not being abused. But I had to report it because I'm a mandated reporter, and it was, mentioned in front of me. And I was like, no, I understand, no worries. So she's going to sit there and tell the kids, oh, I never said anything, I never called them, your mom is a liar, she wants to keep me away from you guys, but she's not gonna succeed, I'm gonna take you, and all these crazy things. And I'm sitting there let me tell you something. First of all, the amount of abuse and how screwed up I am now is a cause of you. So do you really honestly think that I would allow anybody to give you my kids? No, boo. Not at all. My apologies, but no, most definitely not. I would definitely have everybody subpoenaed that knows what my childhood was like behind closed doors and be willing to tell all stories of what's going on. But I would not allow my kids to be in that situation. No, thank you. So ever since that day happened, my mom, my egg donor, really took it against my daughter's father even more. So I was the first time I had told her that I was pregnant. I wasn't really telling her because I didn't feel like it was any of her business, because we didn't have any relationship at all. I did not speak to her. I did not acknowledge her. I would walk past her like she didn't exist. It was either do that or end up in jail for committing murder. And I have kids to raise, and I was pregnant, so I was going to do everything that I needed to do to just keep myself as sane as possible. And she was doing things to trigger me on purpose, deliberately. She knew I didn't want the kids eating candy, but she was out there buying Booker big candy, bags of candy, and giving it to him anyways, even though she knew that I didn't want him eating candy, especially at certain times. And then if I would call him because I'm trying to take away what she gave him that I did not want him to have, and she knew this, she would turn around, call him back, and then be like, oh, don't tell your mom, here you go, and give him some more, are you kidding me? Who are you to define me with my own child? You're crossing a barrier that I would never cross. That's so disrespectful. Like, that shows right there how much of you don't respect me as a person, and much less as a mom. Like, are you kidding me, dude? I've been doing a way better job than you ever did with me. And I never got no credit. Ever. Ever. Instead, all I got was her bad-mouthing me to anybody who would listen. But anyways, so when all that occurred, we ended up getting DCF in our life. They were like, you couldn't bring the baby to this house because of my mom and her hoarding and all the stuff that she had. It was like a lot intertwined. So when we finally go to have, the baby, we had scheduled the C-section, and I finally tell Booker about her because now I know the time is coming up, and if he rats it to my mom, it was pretty cool because we were almost there, and it was just about getting through the pregnancy. I was so afraid I was going to miscarry because I was told that I was showing signs of miscarrying, and there was a possibility that I was not going to be able to carry her. So, like, I was under a lot of stress, and I had to keep myself from being under that stress. And I was just, like, unbearable, like, for real. Like, it was just, like, are you kidding me? How is this even possible for me right now? But I did it. Like, I succeeded. I definitely did it. So, things got worse. Did it not get better? She ended up bribing Booger to find out the baby's name and to find out, when she was born. When she was going to be born. Booger couldn't say her name good at the time, so the egg donor actually thinks her name was a little bit different. And the reason why we didn't want her to know is because she believes a lot in the spiritual world like I do, but she was trying to get the name and she was burning candles and things like that, and I don't play with that stuff, so nope. I was not going to allow you to see my child, and I was not going to allow you to just have anything to do with my child. So Booger told her when the C-section was supposed to be and explained to me why this woman, this is how vindictive she was. We get home after the 4 days of being in the hospital. Now, mind you, because we were not in a good relationship and like our relationship was dead, I had nobody to stay with my kids and I didn't trust them to stay in the house with her by themselves. So I would literally, this is me giving birth. Like, I'm so serious when I say this. And I can show pictures to prove if need be, but come on. It was scheduled, right? So we went early. My daughter had her computer, all her homeschooling stuff, because she was being homeschooled back then as well. And she's homeschooling. Like, I'm helping her through homeschooling while we're prepping for the C-section. Booger was at school because I remember they picked him up for me and they dropped him off. So she was there with me the whole time. Actually, I don't even think they picked him up. I actually think if I had to walk and go get him because the hospital wasn't that far from his school. And then he was doing his homework. Like, the nurse was like, wait, what are you doing? I'm like, what do you mean? She was like, you're about to go in for your C-section in like an hour or two and you have the kids and you're homeschooling. I'm like, listen, just because I'm about to give birth does not mean that the mom world stops. It keeps going. So I have to still continue regardless. And then after I gave birth and I'm like recuperating in the room, and after we go Google Gaga for the baby, what is my daughter doing? Back in school, and I'm back answering questions while breastfeeding. That's the story of a single mom who has to do everything on her own with no support and no help. Like, this was me. So I feel like this segment's going to be so long and you guys are just not going to listen to it all the way. So I should probably stop it here. But, what was I saying? So she found out the day we were having the C-section, and literally we made it home, right, that day. Cool. The next day we were taking her to the doctor because she had lost a lot of weight due to the amount of stress that I was under, and my milk wasn't coming. It was a lot, man. It was a lot. As soon as we get back home from the doctor, knock, 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 knock. There goes a marshal. And I just finished giving birth. I just finished getting home the day before from the hospital. My feet were so swollen. Like, it was so badly swollen. I was in so much pain, especially one of them. Like, I have horrendous pictures of how big and huge it was. And 2 kids with, mental health issues. And she gets the baby's father removed from the house. So for a whole week until the court date, I had to do a whole newborn by myself. And it forced my daughter, my oldest, to have to be the other parent to help me because I was struggling. I wasn't getting any sleep at all. And I still had to be a mom to the other 2 and live in a condition that I couldn't think, I couldn't breathe. I was sleeping in a basement that wasn't finished. Like, I was literally like crying every 5 seconds. I kept having thoughts of just putting myself somewhere and just like letting myself just fall, or getting in the car with the baby and just crashing. Like, I was going through so much, and because he was young, he was not getting it, and he didn't understand it, and it was really sucking because he was just making matters worse for my mental health. And then to top it off, after all that happened, and we go through back and forth to court, and then he gets to come back home, not even like a week later, the brakes on the car like go. So he is like stuck in New Haven, makes a whole new life, and kind of forgets about us. Whenever he felt like calling, he was calling. When he didn't. So we ended up breaking up. Like, it was horrible. Like, it was just horrible. And I know he was living his best life with his people over there, and they became his priority. And we were like, screw you. Like, for his birthday, he was supposed to pick up the baby because she was born May 23rd. His birthday is July 31st. 30th. Sorry, 31st is Beva's donor. July 30th. And he was supposed to pick her up, spend a day with her. Instead, he comes down with somebody else's baby who he claims is his godchild. Dude, really, you've only been staying up there for 2 weeks, and all of a sudden you have a godchild. Do you forget who you're talking to? Like, do you forget that I know that you're like an habitual liar? Like, almost everything that comes out your mouth is a lie. And sometimes I think you get confused with what the truth actually is. And I know these things, and I weed them out, and I know how to function. But at this point, you were supposed to pick up your daughter to spend the day with her for your birthday. And instead, you bring another kid with you who's, I'm guessing, whose mom you were screwing and whose car you were driving. But because of however the seatbelts were set up on that car, he couldn't put both car seats. And there was no way in heck I'm letting you take my newborn. And you strapped in. Okay, I'm getting mad even thinking about this right now, to be honest with you. He straps in the quote-unquote godson, buckles him good to go, but intended for me to be cool with letting him drive with the baby not having the car seat buckled in. Dude, are you out your rabbit mind? That's not your kid. You didn't go half on that one. You went half on this one. I understand that's somebody else's baby, and mind you, don't get me wrong, I love Kiss of Death, and I don't I love Kiss of Death. But how are you going to be okay with overprotecting the one that you didn't go half on, but then the one that you did go half on? It's like, oh, it's fine. No, it's not fine. Where is it fine at? How is it fine? Like, are you kidding me? No, it is not fine. Not okay at all. Like, and he ended up not taking her at all. And it's like, it was like nothing. And I'm like, okay, cool, not a problem, whatever. This is how you feel, and this is how you feel. Like, I'm not gonna force you to be a father. But then, what happened? Things with my egg donor got worse. Things with Booger's sperm donor got worse. Things between the baby's father got worse. And here I am, literally crying out for help and telling everybody I'm ready to kill myself. Is anybody listening to me? No. Am I getting any help or any intervention? No. Is DCF helping me? No. Nobody had answers for me. Nobody had solutions. Nobody had assistance. Nothing. Just more stress. So I was just like, you know what? I'm going to go live at a shelter. Whatever. I don't want to put my kids in a shelter. I never want to hit rock bottom. Have no choice now, because it's either I'm going to kill somebody or I'm going to kill myself. So I have to remove myself from whatever is triggering me. I don't understand how nowhere in Connecticut did any shelters have any openings, not even domestic violence. When I called them as well, they only had opening for 2. I'm a family of 4. So what am I supposed to do with the other 2? Like, what type of mom would I be if I put leave 2 of my kids in a torture chamber and just took me and the newborn? Like, that's not cool. And then to top it off, when I'm doing the intake for one of the shelters, I get told well, basically what's going to happen is, since we know that your situation is this dangerous where you're living at, if you don't put the kids in a shelter, including the newborn, and you keep them there, we're going to call DCF on you. I'm like, dude, I have DCF right now. So, like, what are you doing? Like, are you kidding me? Like, this is not helping me. Like, you guys are just driving me to want to kill myself even more. How is this helping me? Where is this helping me at? So, with no shelters at all, having any space, I was not able to find anybody that I could stay with. And realistically speaking, I didn't ask anybody if I could stay with them. I was not going to do that. That's not the type of person that I was. Like, I was not going to do that. That was just not my game plan. It's 4 of us. Like, everybody else that I really know up there, they have, more kids as well. Like, more people, like, they don't have the space. So, after the lady told me that about the whole, like, the kids, I remember calling and being like, listen, do you still have your apartment available in Virginia that you were going to offer me? No, I already had a friend move in. So I'm like, well, I gotta go. Like, I have no choice. So I guess I'll just go to the shelters in New York then. But it was kind of like, no, come down. Like, let's get on, get on your feet, blah, blah, whatever. So literally that's how it happened. Like, as all jokes aside, Monday, like, it was the shelter told me that. Tuesday, it was, we're packing everything, putting everything in the baby's godmother's basement, which is still there because I haven't been able to find a way back to Connecticut to get my stuff. But we're putting everything there, and then, like, Wednesday we're on the road, kind of ordeal. And it was a crazy move, but I feel like everything that I'm going through right now could have been avoided if, 1, I wouldn't have trusted my daughter's father to have been pulling his part. 2, if I would have just kept with how my model was, I wouldn't be in the situation that I am now, which I always had backup plans. But I loved him, and I thought that because, he had a mom and a dad, and he knew what it was to struggle, he was going to do right by his daughter. But boy, was I so wrong. And ever since then, it's just been downhill, and I'm still trying to get uphill. And he's going through his stuff too, honestly. He found out the grass wasn't greener on the other side, I'll tell you that much. So karma is kind of teaching him a little bit of lessons here and there, which I don't wish on nobody, because at the end of the day, that's still my daughter's father, and we're cool. Like, don't get me wrong, I have a lot of love for him. I have a lot of love for him. If I was given the option to pick between, like, my 3 children's father, if I could have, like, a long-lasting relationship, if I had to pick between the 3 of them, he would actually be the one that I would pick. Most definitely, hands down. He would definitely be the one that I would pick. And it has nothing to do, like, there isn't anything extra special about him, that would be like, oh my God, like, this and that. No, it's not that. It's just the simple fact that when he stops trying to please other people and he's his actual self, he is the most loving, affectionate, supporting person. When he's allowing himself to be himself. And I had a lot more good times than bad times with him. And just the way that he had loved my kids for a certain point was amazing. So I still have mad love for him. Like, I don't wish him any harm. Do I agree with half of the stuff that he does? No. Do I agree with half of the things that he does and how he does them? No. But you know what? I'm not his mom. It's not my job to, speak upon it. I can give advice because I obviously want to see him succeed. Because obviously if he succeeds, our daughter succeeds as well. Because if both of her parents are successful, she's going to have us as role models and succeed as well. So all I really care about is us having a good parenting. I care about us parenting where she can feel loved and feel like there's no secrets. Whatever she tells mom, she can tell dad. Whatever she tells dad, she can tell mom. Like, if dad finds somebody or mom finds somebody, we can all just be like one big happy stupid family. Why is this so freaking difficult? Sometimes I just think I want everything a certain way that I know it's not going to happen because this is not the real world. But I feel like I've been holding on to you guys. Like, it's 2:32 in the morning and I've been talking to y'all for like an hour, I want to say. So I'm going to end this podcast here. If you guys have actually gotten to the end of this, I greatly so appreciate it. I tell my stories because I kind of hope that you guys are learning something from it. Plus, sometimes it allows me to release and let go. And at the same time, I really do want like input. Like, I really want suggestions. I really want comments. I want to vibe with you guys. Like, I just need to vibe. I need a whole community I can vibe. Like, I just need to vibe. And I need it to be known that there's no help for those like me. I'm super hyped, actually. So I have this friend. I'm just going to call him Brooklyn right now. I usually always call him Brooklyn, even though I know he didn't like it back then, but I don't care. I still call him Brooklyn anyways. He also has a couple of things going on like I do. He has mental health as well. And he does have an autistic son. But he has children with multiple different women, and some of them have a couple of things going on. So I'm kind of supposed to be talking to him when the sun comes up later, about trying to see if we can get together and do a couple of episodes, whether it be on the podcast or on YouTube, because I feel like we would have a good discussion, and it'd be so amazing if I had the ability to like have people ask questions or whatever the case may be. I was thinking about doing a Q&A. I'm just not sure where I want to do it. I'm not sure if I want to do it like on IG Live or if I want to do it like on Facebook Live or like, wherever. I'm just not 100% sure where or how to do it, but I do want to do a QA. I'm trying to get a support group created on the Facebook page for the life of a single parent with mental illness. I might change it to just life as a parent with mental illness. I think I kind of like that one better because I feel like some people are probably not paying it to mind because there's the single in it. So I may actually just take that out and just make it as, life as a parent with mental illness. I'm trying to create a support group, and I will keep saying this, and every chance that I get, I want to create a family where we can be supportive of each other. You may not have a situation like mine, or you may not even qualify in this, but if you know somebody who does, I would greatly appreciate it if you would pass the information to them and give them the opportunity, because you don't know what they're going through. You never know. And then sometimes even those that we think that are okay are actually not okay, but we will never know unless we share. So I definitely have to end because I'm about to be using up. I got the warning. The maximum recording time for segments is 60 minutes. Keep an eye on the clock. And I already have a few minutes on the previous one. So if I want to be able to record this together, I definitely have to end this. But I would definitely appreciate it if you guys like, subscribe, share, comment, email, shout out. On my main profile, I do have all of my social networks on there and all of my contacts. You can check it out. Feel free, and up until the next segment, I may just read one of my articles and just put it up there. I'm really liking this podcasting because I could just talk. But I don't want to bore you guys either, and I feel like I'm doing that. I may have to rethink this whole thing. Alright, have a blessed day, you guys, and much respect.